So hello there, my grade 11. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're enjoying general mathematics. I hope na hindi kayo naiinis. Well, yeah, I know the feeling. I've been there. But if you really understand the topics, the basics, then you will not have any problem at all. So in this video, we'll be talking about vertical asymptote. So this is what a graph of a rational function looks like. And before we graph rational functions, we need to know what an asymptote is first. So an asymptote is an imaginary line to which the graph gets closer and closer as it increases or decreases its value without limit. Huh? Ano daw? Okay, so an asymptote is not a part of the graph of a given rational function. The graph will approach the asymptote closely but will not touch it because the function is undefined at a value. Okay, so to summarize everything that's here, an asymptote is kind of like a wall or a boundary na dapat hindi i-cross ng graph yung wall na yon. Bakit? Kasi yung linya na yon, doon ang area or linya kung saan undefined yung function. Doon walang value ang function. Sabi ko nga, we cannot graph yung undefined. Importante yung asymptote kasi parang guide to. These are guidelines, line guides, whatever, na parang magsuserve as a boundary na magsasabi na you should not cross me or you should not touch me. So, ganun ang asymptote. So, uunahin natin yung vertical asymptote. So, paano nga ba kunin ang vertical asymptote? Okay, so first step is to see if the numerator or the denominator is factorable. Luckily, sa number 1, hindi factorable. I mean, walang factorable dyan. So, let's proceed to step 2. And that step 2 is just to get the denominator. Ang denominator dito ay x minus 1. We equate it to 0. So, we solve for x. And so, yung na-solve natin na x value is 1. If we are going to substitute 1 in the function, it will make the denominator 0. And in that case, magiging undefined yung function. So sabi ko nga, ang vertical asymptote, yan yung value kung saan undefined yung function. So if we are going to graph our vertical asymptote, so nandito po si 1, so that is where we are going to mark the vertical asymptote. Hindi dapat i-cross ng graph natin ang wall na yan. Okay, let's proceed to number 2. Obviously, in number 2, quadratic yan. And yes, we can factor quadratic. So before mo kunin yung denominator, we have to factor muna yung numerator at denominator for us to cancel the common terms. So let's factor the numerator. Factor naman natin yung denominator. Okay, since they have common factors, we cancel it. And so we are left with x minus 1 over x minus 3. Okay, so ngayon wala nang factorable. We can just get the denominator, which is x minus 3, equated to 0, and we solve for x. Okay, so if we are going to graph the vertical asymptote, so 1, 2, 3, nandito po ang ating vertical asymptote. So, dyan yung value kung saan undefined yung function. Now, last. Okay, so f of x is equal to 2x over x squared plus 1. Okay, wala namang factorable dito, kaya we just proceed to step 2, which is to just copy the denominator and equate it to 0. And then we solve for x. Take the square root of both. X now is equal to the square root of negative 1. Okay, so may x tayo na imaginary. Huh? Ano daw? Ini-imagine na may x? Well, hahaha. Okay, so we have here an imaginary value, imaginary number. And if you are thinking to find this value in the Cartesian, wala po. Walang square root of negative 1 sa Cartesian. So anong conclusion natin dito? we have no vertical asymptote. So kung nag-solve ka ng vertical asymptote and you came across an imaginary number, well, wala kang vertical asymptote. So your graph can go wherever he wants to go. Walang boundary, walang wall. So yun po kung paano kunin ang vertical asymptote. So let's review. First step is to factor and cancel kung factorable ang numerator at denominator. Next step, after factoring, we'll equate the denominator to 0 and you solve for x. And whatever kung ano man yung na-solve mo, yun ang vertical asymptote mo. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for being with me. You know, in math, you should understand the basics first for you to understand the complicated. So kung nagmo-move tayo sa lesson na wala ka palang naintindihan, well, please ask. It's better to be ignorant for a second than to be ignorant forever. So there you go. Thank you again for watching.